Welcome back. In this morning's MoneyWise section, we're focusing on your eyes, your shades, and your pocketbook. The big question, can you spend as little as $2 to save your eyes from the sun? We sent Debbie Dujanovic to find out, and her eyes were definitely opened.
It's summer. Time to head to the park, but look around. There are those who do and those who don't wear sunglasses. With new research touting the benefits of eyewear, it's time to ask some questions.
So, I hit a park to see what is it people are thinking when it comes to their shades.
I discovered as many opinions as there are sunglass styles.
I noticed that they match your shirt.
Sunglasses, and I have never gotten along.
It's hit or miss. If I'm driving, I usually will, but other than that, I take them off.
I got more important things to worry about. He's 3, he's running around over there.
Yeah, I hardly ever wear glasses, actually. Just once in a while, just some of the cheapy ones.
If you're not sold on eyewear,
Can I bring some of that topsail up there?
maybe Kevin Ethington's experience will help. For 3 decades, he's landscaped yards. Then, 5 years ago, something wasn't quite right.
I developed pink white because it's like a growth of tissue over your eyes, over your eyeballs. And it gets really, cosmetically it looks bad, and then also it gets red and real irritable.
Turns out many of us don't focus on protecting our eyes. A Vision Council study says Salt Lake City had 119 days of what's considered very high risk for UV exposure last year. But only 17% of adults here wear sunglasses every time they step outside, and that's 10% below the national average.
And UV light will come onto the surface of the eye, and it can sometimes damage the cornea, the clear window.
Dr. Bala Ambadi is the director of corneal research at Moran Eye Center, and he sees it like this. Sunglasses can help save your sight.
Especially if it's a bright day, but even on cloudy days, because UV light can penetrate clouds. That causes the growths that are called pterygiums that grow onto the cornea and can obstruct vision.
Which is what happened to Kevin.
I didn't think about it till it was too late.
And for folks like Kevin, we asked the expert, what's his top design choice?
The ones that wrap around and go to the sides to minimize even the side glare that can occur with UV light.
But let's face it, sometimes we just don't want to cough up the cash, right?
So how much do you need to spend to keep the sun out? $2, $10, $20? How about $100?
KSL put 4 pairs of sunglasses to the test.
It's a multimeter because it measures several different things. First, the UV radiation, or we have visible light.
We blasted UV rays at the lens to see how much light is actually getting through. And that pricey $100 pair, it filtered every single UV ray. And surprisingly, so did the $20 pair and $10 pair. No rays got through them either. But what about those $2 sunglasses we bought with no label or claim of UV protection?
Also filters out 100%.
Turns out it didn't matter one bit how much we spent on sunglasses. They all block the UV rays. But when it comes to the less expensive ones, be warned.
Some of the less expensive models have a coating that filters out UV radiation. The downside to that is once it gets scratched up, and it's not protecting you as much as it should. And it's often better that you not wear it at all.
After surgery repaired his vision, Kevin says there is one thing he never leaves home without: his sunglasses.
I always have them, so I don't want to go through this again.
Debbie Dujanovic reporting. Very interesting. Now from eyes to our mouths, restaurants use all kinds of menu tricks to get you to spend more. Here are a few compiled by the Deseret News National Edition. Most menus do not use dollar signs. According to research from the Cornell University School of Hotel Administration, guests given a menu without dollar signs spend significantly more than those who receive a menu with them. Using complex, exotic, or unknown words in describing menu items makes the food sound more complex and valuable, so you'll pay more for it. The third item listed on a menu is generally the most selected item, so restaurants put the most profitable item in that spot. So next time you go to a restaurant, you can see what game's being played here. To read more about sneaky restaurant menu tricks, look for Michael DeGroot's article in the Deseret News National Edition. Traditional mental health therapists analyze what you tell them. Well, this therapist focuses on all the nonverbal cues, from a crooked smile to a downward gaze. Straight ahead, meet the virtual therapist and see how she's breaking down barriers to healthcare.
Dude.
Welcome back. Technology is revolutionizing treatment for mental health, trauma, and disease. USC's Institute for Creative Technologies has developed a virtual human able to recognize and identify psychological distress. Candace Madsen went there to check things out. Now back with us. What'd you find?
Well, it was a pretty unique therapy experience for sure. The virtual human is just one of several interactive tools USCI has developed to provide healthcare support.
When was the last time you argued with someone, and what was it about?
Meet Ellie, the virtual therapist.
Can you tell me about that?
She operates within a program called SimSensei. The program uses a webcam and Xbox Connect infrared sensors to read movement and identify nonverbal cues on a user's face.
We also track the head position, like how it's oriented.
As Ellie talks with the user,
Where are you from originally?
the Connect tracks cues like eye movement and smile intensity.
Oh, I'm from LA myself.
SimSensei is not designed to be a replacement for a clinician at all. We are trying to support clinicians with a different set of eyes and ears. So this is really more information that a human being can actually assess.
Early trials indicate SimSensei can identify depression and help predict suicidal behaviors.
I noticed you were hesitant on that one. Would you say you are generally a happy person?
Surprisingly, most people had no problem opening up to Ellie.
The way that people perceive Ellie, that she's so non-judgmental, she's so friendly to people that everybody loved her.
Ellie could also be useful with telemedicine or remote education, and she's even being experimented with to help autistic adults deal with difficult social situations like job interviews.
For example, the virtual human could be a very friendly character, but also a very critical or hostile character, and you could be prepared, or you can prepare yourself for all kinds of situations.
It is user-friendly. It's in many ways it's plug and play.
Another project that can improve access to care is called Games for Rehab.
I have to stand up to get this red one, and then I have to go back to sitting down, which can be an exhausting task for somebody.
This program also uses Connect technology.
And if I wanted, I could have the target really far forward, requiring like a lunge. This system specifically is great because of the feedback is appropriate for rehab. A user's never at any point told that they failed.
And unlike a traditional video game you'd play on a Wii, these games are calibrated to a patient's individual bodies and abilities.
So for example, if a patient has really limited mobility in their right hand, we can place objects or we can set up the gameplay to acknowledge that, but also kind of push it a little bit.
The computer tracks all joint movement so patients can't cheat, and it charts progress for doctors and physical therapists. Games can also help with cognitive function.
Keeping numbers in working memory is part of typical, cognitive assessment and rehab work. So
Customized video games, virtual humans. All of this technology could go a long way in breaking down barriers to care.
Researchers hope virtual humans like Ellie could one day hasten access to care with kiosks at places like VA hospitals. The technology has also been tested at a children's hospital.
Okay, so you met Ellie.
I did.
What did you think?
I was surprised. I got sucked in.
Yeah?
She totally can read your body movement, so I found myself totally bearing my soul to a computer.
Really, the future of this, people go on the internet and bare their soul to complete strangers, so I imagine that they go, hey, there's a market here for online therapy.
Well, or online, or let's say you go to the VA hospital and they have a kiosk set up. It's private. You go in, you talk to the computer first, so then by the time you get to the doctor, they kind of have an analysis of where you're at.
Okay, so where are we going to see these popping up?
You can see them all over the place. I mean, they can do teleconferencing, like they said, maybe at schools, hospitals. There's really, it's limitless.
Computerized therapy.
Yeah.
All right. Candace, thank you.
Thanks.
Fascinating stuff. A boy who grew up alone on the streets of Ethiopia has just begun a new life here in America. He overcame all kinds of obstacles to get here and finally has the one thing he's always wanted, a family. Lots of happy homecomings at Salt Lake International, but this one is a bit unusual. This family's anxiously waiting to meet their new brother, some of them for the first time.
You hear what he's been through, and we want to give this kid a better life, make a difference in him. back.
It's been a long wait and an incredible journey for the boy from Ethiopia.
The first thing that makes me smile about Anwar is his smile.
A smile that hides a lot of pain. Anwar never knew his mother, and when he was 7, his extended family kicked him out because they couldn't afford to feed and clothe him. He begged for food and at night took refuge in this bamboo tree. He faced frequent abuse on the streets and would often go days without a thing to eat. Then he made a friend who would change his life.
He remembers Asphalt coming to him and asking him that there was an orphanage that he knew that would take them in if he wanted to go.
They walked to the gates of Hope for the Hopeless. Anwar was 10 years old. For the first time in his life, he had a bed and hope.
This family is my sponsor before I meet my mom or this family.
Anwar met Deborah Schoen while she was volunteering at the orphanage and experienced a mother's love for the first time in his life.
Love you.
He immediately touched her heart, and she became the answer to his prayers.
I love Jesus. Yeah.
And you pray to Jesus?
Yes, every morning and every night. When I sleep, when I wake up.
I saw the potential in him when I first met him just by seeing his smile. Didn't matter what he had been through or where he had lived or the experiences he had in his past, that this kid was going to turn his life around and be able to move forward.
For the next 2 years, she and her family frequented the orphanage and worked tirelessly to make this moment happen. On July 16th, Anwar landed at Salt Lake International.
When I met him, I never thought it was possible. And I remember just really wanting a better life for him and a better education. And all he ever wanted was the family. And I just wanted to give him that.
Oh, no, what's up, man?
The entire Schoen family was there to greet their new brother. The 15-year-old who spent so much of his life on his own now has one of the things he always craved.
For the family.
The family, to
Yes.
have a family.
Yes.
So excited for him to get these opportunities and be able to go through them with him.
Anwar has already proven he's a survivor. Though his journey's been tough, it never hardened his heart. The boy who lived in a tree now has aspirations to become an engineer.
He'll be able to go to high school like any other kid in Utah and have an opportunity to go to college and get a degree, and I think he'll soar.
A family in Tennessee still trying to bring Anwar's friend Asfa to the States, but have had a hard time getting him a visa. They're working on it, and they're not giving up. For more information about Hope for the Homeless and how you can help orphans in Ethiopia, visit DeseretNews.com. And that's our report this week on the Deseret News National Edition. I'm Dave McCann. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next Sunday.